I'm Clare Pooley and I'm the author of The People on Platform 5, which has just come out in paperback. And the wonderful people at Southwestern Trains have sent me some questions to answer. And the first one is, where did you find the inspiration for this story? And I actually started writing this story during lockdown, when we were all confined into our individual little houses. And I really missed friends and family, like everybody did. But I also found I really missed strangers. And, you know, I found myself thinking back rather fondly to the days when I used to commute to work by train, and we'd all be crowded into a small carriage with no masks and no worries about who we were standing next to. And, you know, I remembered how I used to see the same people on my commute over and over again, and I would give them little nicknames and I'd make up stories about them. And I started thinking, what would have happened if I'd broken the first rule of London commuting, which is you never ever talk to strangers on the train? What would have happened if I had spoken to some of those people? And I wondered where those conversations might have led me. And that was the inspiration for this book, The People on Platform 5. What happens in the book is, obviously with no spoilers, a group of people who share the same train journey each morning, but have never spoken to each other, suddenly start talking when one of them chokes on a grape and nearly dies, and another one gives him the Heimlich maneuver. And that sort of one act gets these strangers connecting, and from there on, incredible things happen. There's the leading lady is called Iona Iverson, and she is she describes herself as an it girl who is now a past it girl. And she works as an agony aunt and is convinced that she's about to lose her job. And she travels into work every day with her French bulldog Lulu. And the story is told from her perspective and the perspective of 4 other commuters on the same train. So what made me choose Platform 5 and the train line from Hampton Court to Waterloo? Well, the truth is, I was born in East Molesey, so just a few minutes walk from Hampton Court tube station, Hampton Court railway station. And that line is the one I used to take to school as a teenager, and the one my dad took to work every day and back. So I remember it vividly, and it played a big part in my childhood, and that's why I chose that line. And I chose Platform 5. To tell you the truth, there is no Platform 5 at Hampton Court. There is a Platform 5 at Waterloo, which the train to Hampton Court sometimes leaves from, but not always. But the truth is, Platform 5 just sounded better than Platform 1. So artistic license, I think you call it. Also, you'll notice that on my imaginary train, there are tables, whereas on the actual train, there aren't any tables anymore. So huge apologies for taking a little bit of license with the actualité, as my heroine Iona would say. So what do I like most about traveling on a train? Oh God, I love train travel. It's so fascinating. Not just the places you go through and go to, but the people that surround you. I love overhearing conversations. I love imagining what people's lives must be like. I love seeing little romances blossom or arguments happen. It's such fun. And that really was why I had such fun writing this story. What was the most interesting thing that happened to you on a train? Okay, this actually was some time ago. I was on my way to work. Oh, you can see my dog in the background. I was on my way to work, and there was this guy sitting opposite me, and he started looking really queasy, and he went sort of green and sweaty, and he'd obviously drunk too much the night before and had a really bad hangover. And he started going, and I thought, oh my God, he's going to vomit, on this train. And everybody around him looked really nervous. And he then pulled out his briefcase, a really smart leather briefcase, opened it up and threw up into his briefcase. And then he closed the briefcase again and got off the train. and nobody said a word. And that sort of got me thinking, well, if nobody even speaks when somebody vomits into their own briefcase, what would it take to get strangers connecting on a train? And that's why I had a near-death experience in chapter 1, because I thought that's the only way that you could get sort of reticent London commuters to talk. Next question. Have I always wanted to be an author? Oh God, yes. Ever since I was a little child, I always loved reading and writing. It's what I most wanted to be in the world. But I didn't start writing until I was really quite old. My first novel was published when I was 50, The Authenticity Project. So it's really my fabulous second career, and I'm absolutely loving it. And I wish I hadn't taken so long to get round to it. Best piece of advice I've ever been given. I think that would be feel the fear and do it anyway. And one of the things that stopped me becoming an author earlier was just the fear of not being good enough. And I think it took me a long time to realise that the other side of your greatest fear is where the most wonderful things in life are lying. The things that make you most scared are the things that are most worth doing. So any of you out there who've thought about writing a book and think that you might not be able to do it, give it a go. Just give it a go, and amazing things might happen. Favourite location in the UK and why? My father's family are Cornish, so every year since I was about that big, I've been going on holiday to Cornwall, and it really is my happy place. I mean, the minute we see the sea, I feel like it's coming home. So Cornwall. And then finally, tell us something about yourself that we don't know. The more obscure, the better. Interesting question. So something about me that you don't know, probably, because not many people do, is that when I was 11 years old, I'm going to age myself here because this was in 1980, ABBA were on their world tour for the Voulez-Vous album, and one of the songs on the album was I Have a Dream, and they needed little children to sing in the chorus. If you listen to that song on Spotify, you'll hear the kids in the background. And I was one of those kids, so I sang with them in concert in front of 80,000 people, and I was patted on the head by Agnetha and Frida. And I have their autographs. So that is my most obscure claim to fame. So anyway, I really hope you read the book and enjoy it. It's been described as, Ruth Jones says it's utterly gorgeous. Katie Ford says full of original characters and wisdom. People have been very nice about it, but I do hope you enjoy it too.